And we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Got some very big news for you in this one. Let's go. So today, Elon Musk has come out with a post on Bitcoin. He posted a meme, and the meme says, "These scam coins are getting crazy. Someone just shilled me 27 trillion in circulation. Unlimited supply cap, only one node, 25% of supply minted in the last 6 months, 1% of holders own 30%. Joke, that's the US dollar." Right, so this is a meme that he posted, and you can see, well, for those who don't know what's going on here, and it's completely gone over their heads, he's basically dissing the US dollar because in the midst of everything that's going on right now, it is becoming to more and more people more obvious why Bitcoin has superior characteristics to the dollar. A lot of people will be looking at this meme, they see it, be hee hee ha ha, and then, go back to their daily life. But there is a serious message underneath this that a lot of people would not appreciate. So check this out. Here we have the US dollar purchasing power. So how much you can purchase with your dollar over time versus Bitcoin's purchasing power. So the blue line, you can see this sloping blue line is the dollar. This sloping upwards line is Bitcoin's purchasing power. So it's clear to see here that over time, the purchasing power of the dollar has been absolutely destroyed. Okay, to put it into context, the purchasing power of the dollar has declined 96% over the last 100 years. Okay, so a $1, what you could buy for $1 back 100 years ago, it would take you $25, $30 in today's world to buy that same thing you could buy for $1 back 100 years ago. And that decline has been happening due to poor monetary policy by these central banks. They have just been flooding the market with cash through their quantitative easing, printing money, and that's where that 27 million in circulation came from in the Elon Musk's retweeted post. So there are 27 trillion in circulation and growing. That number will continue to grow. As it continues to grow, as they continue to print money, what happens? The dollar continues to be devalued. The purchasing power goes down. That affects everybody. Okay. But if you compare it to Bitcoin, you can see the purchasing power of Bitcoin has exploded. And the fundamental reason for this, and the reason why the purchasing power of Bitcoin is going to continue to increase rather than decrease like the dollar will, or whatever your currency is due to the dynamics, due to the mechanics of Bitcoin, in that there are only 21 million in circulation, and that number will never increase by even a single Bitcoin. And the amount of Bitcoin that doesn't move continues to increase every single day. So we have institutions, we have companies, we have individuals, we have all types of different participants contributing to that amount of Bitcoin that never moves. And it will continue to grow day after day after day after day. And because of this, what happens? Bitcoin becomes a phenomenal store of value and has mechanics that are superior to the dollar. So this is very, very important. So this is why you should be aware of this. So even though this meme is lighthearted, there is a dark truth behind it that you should know about. okay? The dollar, the devaluation of the dollar is a serious thing, and that will continue through the rest of our lifetimes. Whereas here you have Bitcoin, on the other hand, which has the opposite style mechanics, which cannot be influenced by central banks, that cannot be manipulated by governments. And because of this, it maintains and grows its value, and it will continue to do so. Let's check out the charts. Yeah, if you didn't know, Bitcoin hit another all-time high today. I don't know if I'll ever get tired of saying that, but it seems like every single time I come on these live streams, I tell you Bitcoin has gone ahead and hit a new all-time high. Now it's just chipping away, okay? It's not some explosive price movement that a lot of people are expecting, but I've told you the reasons why, and I'll tell you the reason why again. We should not expect some sort of explosive move right now. I actually had a question in the chat in the last live stream. I did catch it. Someone asked me, is Bitcoin going to get to $100,000 before the halving event? My answer to you is absolutely not. Bitcoin is not going to get to 100,000 before the halving event. That is because right now we have a lot of forces at play. We have the whole market is very aware that we have a halving event, and we know that at the halving event, we often get a sell-off. Okay, we often get a sell-off move, and then the rest of the market is rewarded for holding through that sell-off. We are not going to get to the $100,000 before the halving event. Bear in mind that is only next month. That's only like 30 days away. I've told you the highest we can get to, and that is starting with an 8 handle. And even that would be a bit of a stretch. Okay, where we are at right now is probably where around this type of regions where we're going to stay. 75, high 70s. And then I've told you just before the halving event, given the structure of the market, we should expect a sell-off, and then those who hold through that are rewarded. But anyway, in the last live stream, I did, in fact, 2 live streams ago, I did give you the optimum entry for those who are traders. So for those who want to go in and make some money in the short term in Bitcoin through a trade position, I told you can check the live stream. I said 69,200. 69,200 is where you want to go long on Bitcoin, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, dropped down to around that 69,200 level and exploded to another all-time high. Matter of fact, someone in the Discord, I did post that, someone caught the trade. They did very well. You can see here says net P&L, so they made just under $4,000 on that trade on one of their prop accounts. Okay, I'm not going to give you a trade in this live stream, but I'm going to talk about a little bit of the dynamics that we're seeing right now in terms of Bitcoin's price. But before I do, if you are an accumulator in Bitcoin, if you want to, if you listen to what I had to say in the last 10 minutes about the destruction of the US dollar that is taking place right now, and the fact that Bitcoin is continuously being shown and proven as a much more superior method of storing value and increasing capital over time, you will want to be accumulating Bitcoin. Is it fine to buy Bitcoin here right now at 73,244? Absolutely yes, you can buy Bitcoin here if you have an accumulation approach. So that's you're going to buy it here, and the next month, April 12th, regardless of what the price is, you're going to buy again and continue to accumulate. Okay, do not be afraid of the fact that Bitcoin is at an all-time high level. In the context of where Bitcoin is going in this world that we live in, 73,000 is cheap, so you can buy here. So we've created this perfect channel, as you can see with Bitcoin, right? It's sloping up, perfect channel. I spoke about it last time we're still well within that right now. I've also mentioned to you that we have a massive buildup of shorts at the 75,000 level. And once price gets to that level, it would liquidate 1.7 billion. It's even jumped up. I told you more shorts are going to pile on at 75. 1.7 billion in positions will be liquidated once Bitcoin gets to 75,000. So what does that mean? It means Bitcoin is getting to 75,000. No problem, because it will liquidate all those short positions, those crazy people who went short at 75,000, who had a death wish, they will die. Then what I expect it to do is to come down and actually liquidate all the longs that got in from the mid 60s. Okay, and I mentioned this last time. So I expect the price to do some sort of whipsaw action, go liquidate the guys at the top, 75, liquidate the guys at the bottom down at 65. That is my expectation in the short term. Now, obviously, if it did get down to those types of levels, you know, there are trading opportunities that present themselves down there. So that's what we should expect in the short term for Bitcoin. Big news, okay? ETF inflows totaled 1.045 billion yesterday. That's the highest amount. So the amount of money that was thrown the way of these Bitcoin spot ETFs, so the amount of money that people put through the spot ETFs, that bought the spot ETFs, that it was at its record level yesterday. The momentum, the pace at which we've seen people buy into these spot ETFs has been crazy. And yesterday was the highest, the biggest total inflows that we've seen since the launch of these ETFs at the start of the year. That is huge. Okay, so BlackRock, 849 million, Fidelity, 51 million, Bitwise, 24 million, and we don't really care about the rest. We don't really care about BlackRock just because they're absolutely dominating the space. Okay, so 850 million inflows is wild. It is huge. It's crazy. It's a big number. But let's talk about this. Why is this significant? What is going on here? Well, it is important because who is buying into these spot ETFs? It's not me and it's not you. We are not buying into the spot ETFs. We want to get our Bitcoin or our cryptocurrency. We will go through the exchanges. So we might go for a Coinbase, or we might go for an FTX. That was a joke, by the way. So we will go through the exchanges, right? It's gonna be it's gonna be your investment advisors, okay? So your large asset managers. So think of like your Wells Fargo, think of hedge funds, venture capital, corporates. All right, we're none of those things. Those are the people who are buying the Bitcoin spot ETF, right? Now, these types of people have very different approaches. They have very different time horizons. They have a very different whole reason for being into crypto than the majority of people that have bought through exchanges. The reason why they're buying is because they want to add it to long-term portfolios, right? They're not going to panic sell at the next dip like a lot of people at exchanges will. They're not going to be liquidated. They are going to build positions because they can see the destruction in the US dollar, and they want to preserve capital and grow capital in what has been the best performing asset class of all time. So to see the increase in numbers of inflows into these ETFs is crazy. It's huge. It's big news. Because what they're doing is they're laying the foundation in Bitcoin for future success. Without without the institutions, without their participation, we don't get that 250,000 Bitcoin. We don't get that 500,000 Bitcoin that we will see, that we will reap the rewards of in the future. So that's who's buying. But why was it the largest inflow yesterday of all days? Well, one reason is these asset managers, these hedge funds, these venture capitalists, these corporations, they have a process to go through before they can actually go ahead and buy through the ETF for themselves or for their clients. Okay, it's not just like me and you. If I want to buy Bitcoin, I'll just click 3 buttons, boom, I'm in Bitcoin. Same with you. Their process is different. They have different hurdles, KYC, regulation, due diligence, speak to this person, speak to that person, risk management, reports, this and that, before they get that approval to actually go ahead and get into the ETF. So that's one reason why you're seeing these delayed inflows, right? Because, it would have taken them a few weeks to get approval. Right, it's been a couple of weeks now. Now they got the approval, so now they can go through. But another massive reason, and this is really important, and this is exactly what I told you yesterday. Bitcoin in the last month has only seen 2 days where we've seen a sell-off. All the other days it's just been trending higher. We saw that one day back, I think it was 5th of March, where the price dropped 10% in the day. I think it was 10 or 12% in the day. In fact, I'll just show you now. Here, okay, 5th of March. That was the previous largest day. And yesterday, when we saw a 5% drawdown, that was the biggest day. So what it's showing you is these institutions, these corporations, these asset managers, they have the finger on the trigger once they see any dip or decline of any reasonable size in Bitcoin. So 5%, they ate it up. 10%, they ate it up. So yesterday, Bitcoin dropped 5%. Boom, that was the largest day of inflows. So now we think ahead. So now when the halving event comes and we have that pre-halving event sell-off, okay, that pre-halving event sell-off where we should get some sort of decline in Bitcoin in the region of 10 to 30%, okay, probably be the average of those, so 15%, let's just say, they will be ready to buy in force because we've already seen it happen twice. A dip of 10% was the previous largest day. A dip of 5%, the largest day. Boom, 1 billion inflows. So you imagine how they're going to react when they see a 15%. Yeah, that number's going to be 1.5 billion. That number's going to be 1.75 billion of inflows. It shows the market is ready to gobble up any dip in Bitcoin. That's huge, right? That is massive. So that is what we should draw from this. Like, remember, their purpose of being in this isn't to trade it. Yeah, you might get some people who might be trading, but the majority of these participants, they're looking to hold it and add to it longer term positions because they want to see the cycle through. So they're not just going to sell out at any moment. And they've shown that a 10% dip, a 5% dip, they've been ready to buy it and they bought it massive. And all of this is about laying the foundations for a much bigger move. So that's why when people are there thinking that Bitcoin is going to go much, much lower, they are wrong because the foundations are being laid in ways that they've never been done before. 2024 is different to any other year that we've seen in crypto's lifetime. Thanks to the introduction, the participation of these institutions and these corporates. Okay, you kind of see the ramp up, the growth of how the inflows are coming into these ETFs. It's a big thing. It's a historic year for Bitcoin, to say the least. historic year. Now check this out. So the largest owner of Bitcoin, single entity, is BlackRock. That is why we track them. That's why we look at them, because it's important that they continue to accumulate. Now BlackRock alone hold 1% of the entire circulating supply of Bitcoin. Massive. MicroStrategy, a corporation, they themselves own 1%. So right there is 2% of Bitcoin that me and you, well, BlackRock will probably sell off a little bit of their Bitcoin now and then, but they'll continue to grow it. So that's 2% of Bitcoin that me and you will never be able to touch because it's theirs. It can't be ours anymore. They've taken it out of supply. It's theirs. And expectation is BlackRock continues to widen the gap between MicroStrategy. So right now they own 200,000 Bitcoins, massive amount. They'll 5x that because they've still got, remember, this is an asset manager of $10 trillion under management. They've still got tons of, clients and people buy into this. They're adding it to their investment portfolios and all sorts. They will single-handedly own 1 million Bitcoin. And they'll own 5% of the entire supply, single-handedly. And obviously, MicroStrategy will continue to work that 1% up to 1.5% over time, and you're gonna get more and more people. I shouldn't say people. You're gonna get more and more companies, asset managers holding massive positions of Bitcoin. So, if we look at the entities that hold the most Bitcoin, which is in front of us, the top 3 won't change for, the next year. BlackRock will be number 1, MicroStrategy will be number 2, no problem. But you can see that we got Tesla, we got Coinbase, and Square down here, which are the 3 corporations that own the most Bitcoin. We look at this in 24, 48 months time, the composition is going to change. You're going to see other corporations start holding large chunks of Bitcoin. So this is why this is a game-changing time for Bitcoin. This is a time where you're going to start to see balance sheets hold Bitcoin in ways that they've never done before. Which again, what does that do? It reduces the supply for everybody else. That means that the existing supply is more valuable than it was before. And it continues to do so because of this scarcity effect. It's the only asset class that has this scarcity effect. Gold, you can go mine more gold. The dollar, we know you can print more dollar. Bitcoin, no, you can't create no more Bitcoin. So on the 15th of May, we are going to see asset managers or investors who have over 100 million in assets. They have to declare their Bitcoin. So that day alone could be a massive catalyst because you're going to start to see, okay, this company A, person B, company C is going to reveal how much Bitcoin that they have. That is going to be a confidence boost for the market. The more confidence boost you get in the market, the more Bitcoin that is bought. The more Bitcoin that is bought, the more that is taken off circulation. The more that's taken off circulation, the less you can buy, the higher the price you'll have to pay for the remaining pool of Bitcoin. This chart's always crazy to look at because it shows you this red line down here that there are 900 new Bitcoins put into circulation per day. And BlackRock yesterday bought, I believe that says 14,000, and there's only 900. So they themselves bought 10, 15 times the circulation of the new Bitcoin in circulation just yesterday single-handedly. It puts it into perspective the severity of the supply crisis that we are enjoying right now. That is only going to compound as more and more people start to understand what's going on here. So check this out. I've got a video here. So this is a well-known crypto guy, Michael Novogratz. Let's see what he has to say.
Frothy, funding rates are high, and so in times like this, you always have to be ready for a correction. I don't think we go back below 55,000. I think that's the new floor, unless something dramatic happens.
Yeah, I thought you were out of that business. I don't know if I...
Hey, Mike, one of the things that's so interesting is most of the inflows seem to be coming...
So he's saying that the floor in Bitcoin is now 50 to 55,000. There are a lot of people who still believe crypto is going to zero. There are a lot of people that believe that we'll just drop off a cliff. This guy's saying 50 to 55,000. Has what he's saying got any legs to stand on? Yeah, it does. It really does. Because if we go back to the chart, 50 to 55,000. So give or take, let's just say 50,000. The key thing about that is, first, actually, you want to think, okay, we're going for a bull cycle. We've just started the bull cycle. So there's a difference between how low it can get in a bull cycle and how low it can get for the rest of eternity. Those two are very different things. So pre-halving event, the max drawdown we should expect is 30%. That 30% gets us pretty much exactly to 50,000. In doing so, we would liquidate so many positions, so many longs, including a massive amount of longs that got in at around the $58,000 level. So yes, that can happen. That's worst case scenario, most definitely worst case scenario. Now, I always like to accept that Bitcoin could have a 50% drawdown. Right, a 50% drawdown is possible during a down cycle, during a bear market. Okay. Once Bitcoin gets to, if Bitcoin was to grace the $50,000 level, right, which is the worst case during halving cycle volatility, remember, there's a reason why it would get there. It's not getting there for some fundamental reason. It's getting there purely for a repetition of historic price movement and liquidation before it rewards people with much higher prices. So that is possible. That is worst case. After that, we would see Bitcoin show its true price discovery, moving beyond 73,000 with ease where it's at right now, where it's kind of stumbling, moving into 80,000, 90,000 and crossing over $100,000 this bull cycle. Yes. You cross over $100,000, a 50% drawdown, which is always what I like to accept, is a possibility in a bear market. That leaves you back at 50,000. So he is correct in what he's saying. What he's saying does have legs, because once we continue through this bull cycle and make our way to 100,000, 125,000, 150,000 is top end price. My top end price, that is, not some wild top end prices that you see out there. I think the craziest one I've seen now, but I think look, the craziest one I've seen now is 1 million for this cycle. I think look, you guys know I'm a true Bitcoin enthusiast. However, some people are just smoking something too strong. 1 million in this cycle 1 million in this cycle is just, listen. I'm lost for words when I don't even know what to say about that. But you're smoking something strong if you think it's going to 1 million this cycle, 100%. So 150,000 top case, 50% drawdown, 60% drawdown doesn't even get you to 50,000. So yes, what he's saying does have legs, and that is the lowest crypto can go, 50,000. I'm backing him, okay? I'm with him right there. Guys, that is the end of today's live stream. Let me see if anyone posted in the chat any questions or anything. Okay, you mentioned. Okay, no crypto questions in the chat. All right, so guys, that's the end of the live stream, and I'll catch you guys next time.